On this week's show, how to secure below market value property deals.
In the news, London property market is on the boom.
And we're going to be answering all your property related questions. Hi, I'm Russell Leeds.
I'm Alistair Cunningham.
And welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. It's good to have you back.
I know, it feels like I've not done this in ages. We've not filmed together for...
How many did you miss? Two weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah. It seems like forever.
It does, doesn't it?
I was actually thinking the other day, I miss Russell. I miss filming.
And so someone said
Then I remembered about your sarcasm and your jokes.
Well, I think that's what people miss though. See, someone said I love loving the information, but I want the two clowns back.
Oh, okay.
See, I'm normal when I've got other people. It's just with you. You bring something out of me. I don't know what it is.
I bring the best out of you.
Clearly.
Say.
So
what have you been up to? What have I missed? Come on, what have I missed?
So we did a lot of talking about below buying.
You had Ben on, didn't you?
I did.
Property developer.
Yeah.
Big deals. Your guy.
Buy, refurbish, finance, all that sort of stuff.
That was interesting. I didn't watch the show, but that was I know it'd be interesting because he's a very intelligent guy.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. Yeah. Thanks for not watching.
I'll watch it tonight on the way home.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
If I'm not in it, I ain't watching it. It's that simple. it's like,
well, I didn't watch the one when I wasn't in it either.
Exactly.
So there you go.
So, and then we had who was on last week?
Ben.
Who was on the week before?
Ben.
Both Bens. Yeah. Ben Mac and Ben Mac.
It was
the same Ben Mac.
It was the same Ben Mac.
Right. Okay.
We got two Ben Macs. It's very confusing.
It's very confusing.
It is very confusing. So below market value.
Yes.
So that's what we're talking about this week. So first of all, what is a below market value deal?
Okay, so it's very simple. You're buying a property where you're getting a discount on the purchase price, and as a result, it makes it below the market value.
So if someone puts the purchase price up at say 200,000 and you get it for 180, is that below market value?
It depends.
Ooh.
It depends. Just because they put it up for 200,000 doesn't mean that's what it's worth. A lot of people get confused between market value and purchase price. Like, for instance, that phone is £1,000 to buy. But if I say to you, I want you to buy that, I want you to give me £1,200 for it, and you give me £600 for it, it might only be worth £600 because it's second hand. Does that point make any sense to you? You look a bit blank.
I mean, I know the point you're making, and I'm just loving hearing you struggle to make it. So
I'm not struggling to make it. My point being is, look, it's below the value, not below the asking price.
Because last time we talked about this, which would have been over a year ago now.
I know exactly what you're going to say now. Just don't go there. Below the true market value.
You said there's two things. There's below market value and there's below true market value.
Well, it is, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what somebody wants for something. I could want £1,200 for that. I could want £100 for that. £200 or £2,000 for this MacBook. It doesn't matter. If it's not worth that, it doesn't matter how much I want for it. You'll only sell something for what it's worth. Only
in that case,
only an idiot pays more.
Does below market value even exist? Because if it's what they're prepared to pay for it, then isn't that the market value?
Your clients will dictate the market value.
So does below market value even exist?
How would you work it out? Let's just say, let me talk about a deal I've just bought. So this is a deal I bought in Liverpool, and we bought it actually incidentally through auction. I know we talk about not buying at auction and just being super, super careful. So as beginners in property, we advise not going to auction. We advise being very careful to begin with. So I bought a property at auction, and the purchase price was £43,000 plus £6,000 for auction fees. So it's £49,000. Simple maths, I forgot. £49,000.
What's that rap song where he does the quick maths? Dude,
I'm more 80s music, no.
1 + 1 is 2 + 3 is 5. Quick maths.
I don't know, bro. Yeah. I'm
He's
more
better
like,
than you. They did
I'm more into UB40 and all that sort of stuff. I don't know all these rappers. Anyway, my point being, £49,000, and the actual market value is £110,000.
That's because you will be 40 soon, won't you?
No.
Soon.
No.
Oh, come on.
I'm closer to 40 than I am 30, yes, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be soon.
Because you're late 30s now, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes, so soon. You will be 40. You be 40.
You be 40, exactly. Okay, right. Welcome back. Right, let's stay on track. So £49,000 I'm paying for this house. The market value is £110,000. Now, I know that because I have an investor who's bought a house 7 doors away, and they've just had their property revalued at 110. And my property is going to be a little bit bigger, and it's going to be a 4-bed HMO instead of a 3-bed.
Yeah. So basically, your point is, and I think you're totally right. Your point is that what someone puts it up at. People, when they put a house up, same as you put a car up. I sold my Porsche the other day, and you always put it up expecting to get knocked down, don't you?
Of course you do. So you always go puff.
Yeah, and a house is the same. When you sell your house, you expect to be knocked down. So knocking someone down 10 grand off the purchase price of a house probably isn't below market value at all. No. It's probably just bringing it. This is your point. And bringing it back down, because deal sellers in particular are like, oh, market value is 100,000. It was up for 100,000. We've secured it at 90,000. 10% BMV. No, it's not 10% BMV. It's just the same as any other house
on the street.
Right. So we've said that you can't assess it on that. Then the next way you normally assess market value is that you assess it based on what someone's prepared to pay for it.
Yeah.
However, if you assess it like that, there's never such a thing as below market value, because you're
exactly.
So. Question.
Let's look at how a valuer would value a property.
Bang on. That's the good thing about property.
Yeah.
Is that it has official valuations. You have people whose job it is to go and value it. Mm-hmm. So it's not a question of what people are prepared to pay for it. It's what the valuer says, which is what the mortgage
approved valuer
company
says.
Will base it on.
Yeah. Now think about this: the mortgage lenders, the people that are actually giving you the money, they want that money secured against an asset, so that if you don't pay it, they can get that money back.
Yeah.
They're not going to lend against something that's not going to return that money because they've got risk management in place, okay? So they would use a risk surveyor. They'd go out and value the property. The valuation officer will do 2 things. They'll come out and they'll view the property. They'll go inside it. They'll view it. On newer properties, they do what's called a drive-by or a curbside valuation. They don't actually have to go inside, but that's how they value it. They go inside and then they submit the information to the office. People in the office then do further due diligence without actually looking at the property. So there's 2 sides to the valuation. That's one of the reasons why a valuer will never give you the valuation when you're actually at the property with them, because he's not finished his job. It's only halfway done. And they'll value it, and basically they'll value it on what's been selling nearby, what's sold nearby, and what's on the market nearby. And they'll take an average of the lot.
But of course they'll know that what's on the market, unless it's sold, what's on the market doesn't mean.
No, it doesn't mean anything. All we're interested in is what has actually been sold. What has somebody previously paid for a very similar property on the same street or within a very, very tight radius. And like, I've seen so many times where people, you said it earlier, deal sources in particular, they'll go and see a property on Rightmove or whatever, 100 grand, they'll go out and view it and they'll get it for 90 and they'll assume they've got a BMV deal. They haven't. It's probably only worth 90 grand. A good deal sourcer would be able to get that a lot cheaper than that, or direct to vendor, or just not on the market at all, like direct with estate agents, but it's not on the market. It's like the relationship I have with a lot of estate agents is they come to me with deals before it even hits their window, do you know what I mean, or hits their Rightmove page, and then so technically they're off market, they're not actually advertising.
So what you need to do is you need to go and basically look for similar houses in the area that have sold recently. So if you look at a house, you can find that on Rightmove. It's very, very easy. If you go and look at a house, okay, what's the postcode? Okay, let's have a look within a quarter of a half a mile radius. Like for like house sold. You want land registry information, because that's confirmed, backed up information of what's actually been paid for. Incidentally, another thing I will highlight here is, I completely forgot. Well, that's good.
Auctions, right? Okay, so a great place to get below market value deals is auctions.
Yeah, because typically at auction, I can't remember the exact percentage, but houses on auction typically sell for like 20% less.
They do, but obviously you've got associated fees and things like that to be aware of. So this property I was talking about earlier, I bought it at auction, and there was £5,000 auction fees. So you factor that into your costs, and as long as you remain completely fixated on your price, and I'll tell you the story about that house. That actually went to auction about 4 months ago, but it fell through at a later. We pulled out at £43,000 because there was somebody outbidding us, and they were pushing the price up.
But yours wasn't a modern method of auction?
It was modern method of auction, yeah.
So just for anyone that doesn't know, what's the difference between a traditional auction and a modern method?
Modern method of auction.
Okay,
so this property I was buying was a traditional auction. I was actually watching it online, so I wasn't there. I was watching it online. I was bidding via online, and that's a traditional auction generally held in a hotel somewhere where you've got a guy at the front with a hammer, smacks the hammer down when the highest bidder.
Did you win?
No, what happened was the property was going up and it was going up. It started at no reserve, started at like $5,000, and we were at £44,000. And I pulled out because I didn't want to pay any more than 40. I didn't want to pay any more than 50, but I knew there was a £5,000.
Was it a semi-detached house?
It's a terrace, mid-terraced.
Okay.
So at 43, I think we pulled out, and then it went into, there was 2 other people who started bidding, and it ended up selling for about 55, right? But then the guy paid the auction fees, and then he couldn't complete. So after 28 days, he lost his fees, he lost everything, and it come back. So the estate agent come back to me the Friday before Christmas and said, look, that property's back on the market, do you want to buy it? And I says, I do want to buy it, but I'm going to go back to my original £43,000 before I started getting outbid by people, because then they obviously couldn't complete. So I'm not going to, they went to the other buyer, they couldn't complete. So I said, I can complete, so I'll pay 43. They went away and they said, no, they're not going to accept that. Literally at 10 to 5, the day before everyone broke up for Christmas, they rung up and said, yeah, they'll accept it if you can pay the holding fee now. So I just paid it on my credit card, paid the £5,000 on my credit card, and it's £43,000 plus the 5,000 whatever it was, plus including VAT. So the lesson here is not to be emotional. I could have got up to 55, 56, but I didn't. I remained calm. I didn't get in the hype of it, and I ended up buying a house for 43 grand. It's going to be worth 110. So that was at a traditional, but I was watching it online.
You're quite good at that because you play poker, don't you?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
And you're very good at not getting drawn into the
I'm very good at not getting emotional about things because I understand mathematics. I understand that you just don't get emotional. So I play a lot of poker. Anyone that knows me knows I play poker, and I'm very good at it. You know I'm good at it. You know I'm very good at it.
It's the one thing that you're probably better than me at.
I can think of a few, but yeah, we'll go with that. Looks for a start. Right? I'm kidding. Okay, so that's the modern method of the traditional method. The modern method is essentially done through an estate agent, where you put a bid in and it goes through. You pay a reservation fee, but if you pull out, you pull out. So modern methods are generally done through estate agents.
And you just lose your reservation.
Traditionals are generally done at through an auctioneer. So one of the auctioneers that I was, this property was through, was a company called I Am Sold. It's an auction house called I Am Sold. And at the end of the day, I got a bargain because I remained completely emotionless.
The thing with auctions is the more risk, isn't it? It's almost like buying in Scotland.
But listen, come on, man. We're entrepreneurs, right? You're in business. I'm in business. Hopefully, many of our viewers are wanting to get into business. We're entrepreneurs. What is the definition of an entrepreneur?
One who takes risks for financial gain.
One who takes financial risk for financial gain. So if you want to live a complete 9-to-5 life where everything's vanilla, everything's nice and easy and goes with the flow, then stay in your job.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if you're not really sure, if you're like unsure, and like I know someone, you know someone who put a bid in an auction without even viewing.
Yeah, but come on, man, you can't compare that. That's ridiculous.
What I'm saying is, though, is if someone watches this who's a bit of a wally and they go along to an auction house and they could lose like money, and then it's too late then. Like if you're a bit of a wally and you go and put a bid on a house for an estate agent and then you realise that it's actually sinking, you can just pull out, can't you?
Well,
but if you do it at auction, you commit to pay the reservation fee or whatever it is.
I agree with you, right? So we all know people that have made mistakes.
If you're going to do it, you just need to do your research. Is what I'm saying. It's more risky because you are financially committing something straight up that you can't pull out of.
We all know people make mistakes and things, and sometimes you just have to be able to pull out. Otherwise, things go wrong.
Yeah. In fact, one of the things I talked to Ben about was knowing when to quit last week.
Yeah, 100%.
You've got to know when to, and that's the problem. So with an auction, if you are committed, right there and then.
Yes, you are,
and you might lose money if you pull out. However, as long as you go and view the property beforehand, and do your research, and you know, okay, so you could go along, It's so easy to get a below market value property at auction.
It's very easy.
Go and do your research, get it valued.
Yeah.
By following the formulas of how to work out the value, which is very, very easy to do online. Okay, that house is worth 80 grand. I'm going to go to auction. I ain't going to bid more than 65.
Yeah. And also know your auction fees. It's really important you know what you got to pay and know how much extra you're going to have to pay, because you'll have to pay auction fees. All sorts of fees.
80 grand in auction fees.
Yeah, 10%.
1%? Yeah.
10%.
10%. Yeah.
So I'm also better at the... He's better at me than speaking, but I'm better at him at maths.
Better at me at speaking.
A couple of things we will make you aware of before with auctions.
Yeah.
Be very careful. Like things, don't be emotional. You go into it very emotionless. Know your numbers. Know where you're going to stop. Make sure you view the property. Do not buy a property at auction, especially as a newcomer, as a newbie, without viewing it. And if you don't know what you're looking at,
just take a builder. Get
somebody who does and just pay them. If it costs you £200, £500, it doesn't matter, because if for instance the guy we're talking about, if he got done it, it would have saved him a lot of money. Unfortunately he didn't, and it's a shame, because he did lose quite a bit of money. But make sure you take somebody who knows what they're talking about. And thirdly, know the value, know the end value, an approximate, and be conservative. So be super conservative. This property I bought in Liverpool, I never viewed it beforehand. I didn't view it. So I'm going against my own advice. But I don't need to view it, because I got somebody else to view it for me. I got Max and my builder went and viewed it. So the expertise are looking at it. I don't need to. I've never even seen it. I've never been to it. We're buying it. It will be completed in about 3 weeks. We're going to refurb it.
You've been to the street, haven't you?
No.
I thought you were at a house opposite.
I wasn't. My builder was. I wasn't. I've never been to that street in Liverpool. I've got investors that have got houses on that street, but I've never been there. But I don't need to. Max, my team have. I don't have to get involved with it. So that's a massive way to get BMV deals. And if you do it properly, below market value, and you know what you're doing with regards to financing it and structuring it, like this house, I'm going to pull out a lot of money. Like, so... just quick maths, yeah.
Quick maths.
I know I'm buying it. So for it's 48,995. I'm buying it. Okay. I've already been told the quote for refurb. It's going to cost us no more than £20,000 for refurb.
Yeah.
And let's just add another £3,500 for legal costs. So at the minute, I'm £72,495.
And it's worth 110.
And it's going to be worth 110. Now I know that because I've got Kent Reliance has already valued a property 4 doors away, the exact same, and they've valued it at 110. I've got proof of that. And now I know I can get a 75% loan to value, so I'm going to pull back 82,500. So take away this 72,495, whatever it was. I'll get just over 10. I'll get all my money back for the purchase, the refurb, and it'll be £10,000 in profit. So I'll walk away with £10,000 cash. It's a banging deal, mate. It's a banging deal.
It is a banging deal.
And I find these sort of deals all the time. So I know me and you are doing one together as well. We're going to do it together.
The deal.
The deal that was, yeah. So interesting, yeah?
It is interesting. So you got auctions, and then obviously it's looking for houses that aren't shifting. On places like Rightmove, you can look at oldest listings, see what's around, go to an estate agent. Have you got anything that doesn't shift?
We were at the crash course the other day, and I was on stage and I was finding a single let, showing people how to find like a good single let or things like that. And I just clicked on the oldest listed in this area we're looking at.
7 years?
No, 2005. There's several houses on there since 2005. They're just
How
not
depressing is that?
It's very depressing.
Imagine me selling your house for 15 years.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's still not worth what you paid for it.
Back then, we were I was a teenager back then.
How old was I? I was 20.
You weren't 20.
I was 22.
Right, it's now time for this.
Okay, in the news this week, we have an article about the London property market. Everyone was talking about it pre-election, what's going to happen. Now the elections are over. There's been a bit of news, so let's go with it. So basically, the housing market is back with a bang as buyers flood the markets after the election. This is an article in homesandproperty.co.uk. And let me just read it, if I can get to it. So basically, London property market has sprung back spectacularly back into life with buyers flocking the markets with record numbers after 3 years of Brexit freeze. Basically, agents across the capital are seeing unprecedented volumes of properties coming to the market. Double in January, the first 2 weeks in January, there's been double the amount of properties added to the market in the preceding years, in the last 2 years. So it's a very interesting news story. So it basically just shows you that a lot of people are actually looking to sell in London, but sales are going through as well. So it's not
everyone's
like,
looking to buy.
It's not like people are just selling. There's people buying. There's people buying in London.
They were
leading firm Knight Frank said last Saturday it was the busiest ever for viewings, with new buyers registrations in the second week of January double the levels of 2019 and 18. Christopher Burton, head of Knight Frank's in Dulwich office, the interest has exploded at the start of the year. Sellers have returned in huge numbers, with the total value of sales in London been up for sale since the polling day have already reached 10 billion.
I'm not surprised. Well, we said this, didn't we?
Yeah,
we said as soon as people know, as certainty. It's when when they're not sure, it will continue to grow this year. Because although it's certain, it's not like.
Yeah. Also, Rightmove have confirmed that the average asking price, this is asking price, not market value, rose by 2.1%, equivalent to £12,500, up to £600,145 in the month of January. The biggest ever monthly jump ever recorded at this time of the year, ever. So it's up 2.1%.
The biggest ever recorded ever
in history. The biggest jump in history. In January, in this time of the year. January.
Since records began.
Yeah.
Do you find it funny when they say that? Like, since records began? And then when you look into the records, it's like records began in like 1991. And you're like, what were they doing before? What were they doing before then?
Yeah, they just went record keeping, weren't they? Here, look, the recovery has been so strong. The recovery has been particularly strong at the higher end of the market, where sellers and buyers have been in property hibernation for more than half a decade. So the top end. Like we talked about this a few weeks back. Bishops Avenue in London, like that used to be Billionaires Row. Like houses down there, there's nothing less than $1 million. It's all million, 5, 6, 10 million, 15, 20 million pound houses, and a lot of them are derelict. Honestly, I'll take you down the one. You'll be shocked at these mansions. They're just in a derelict state. So hopefully they'll get a bit of a regeneration down there. See what happens, but. So it's looking good for London markets.
Good news for the and everywhere follows London. So good news for the property investment. Right, it's now time for this. Okay, so it's time for your questions and our answers on anything property. So most of the questions that we look at are from the Property Investors with Samuel Leeds Facebook group. So if you're not a member, please do go on and join. Here we go. So first one from Emmett. Hey lads, what's your opinion on using bridging finance to purchase a buy-to-let? Do you think it's beneficial in certain situations or stay clear of it?
Can I take that? Go on. You go first. You go first and I'll give
No, you go.
No, go on.
No, come on.
Do you want me to do it?
No, I'll do it. So bridging finance is very, very beneficial if you're doing buy refurbish refinance. So if you're looking to buy it and then get a mortgage after you've added value, go bridging all the way. If you're just looking for a standard buy-to-let, then
don't touch it.
Let
me give you an example where bridging's working for me at the minute, okay? This is a property that I'm buying that has had, basically it's been tenanted for 10 years. Now the tenants were builders and they decided to build a 2-story extension on the back without planning permission. So they've ripped, the place has been ripped apart. It's no kitchen, no bathroom.
You talked about this one last time.
It's a very good, it's taken a long time to tie up and get right. I finally got offers accepted and I finally got all the information I need to satisfy myself that it's a good deal. Now, to put it into context...
What sort of information do you need to satisfy yourself normally?
Planning regs.
Nice.
Does it for me, bro. Does it for me.
Okay.
Okay, so on this deal, planning regs... I'm not going to go into too much detail because it will give a lot away, but we can get there. When it's completed, I'll tell you all you need to know. So basically, the house is worth about 360 to 390. You wouldn't get anything less than 350 in the street, okay? So 360, 390, because we're going to add a couple of bedrooms to it. We're buying it for 208,000. Worth about 360, 390. It's going to cost about 30,000 pounds to rectify. So we're using bridging finance for this. Now, because the done-up value is considerably more than the purchase price, we're able to get 90% bridge. which means we're getting most of the purchase price apart from 10%. So we're having to put about 15,000-20,000 into it. So we're going to do this on a 9-month bridge. We know it's going to take about 6 months to sort everything out. We're going to do it on a 9-month bridge, and that will give us time to run over if it runs over, and then we're going to go from a bridge to a buy-to-let mortgage, and we're going to pull out a lot of money and live happily ever after. Amazing use of bridging. Make sure you do it properly, but it's all subjective to the done-up value.
It is.
So just make sure you know your figures. But when this deal's done, it is a beast.
Bridging's a tool, got to be used correctly. It's not a mortgage.
And again, like auctions, be aware of the fees and the costs to get in of it and get out of it.
Wow, this is a long one.
Go on.
Okay, this is from Andy Homent.
Cool.
I'm looking at setting up a company with a couple of investors where it ultimately works as a high interest savings account for them, which they're happy with, and a way for me to build a portfolio myself. Are there any key things you think I should consider with moving forward? Yes, there is actually. I would definitely... There's definitely legalities involved in this where you're borrowing money. I think you need to be FCA regulated. I think it's a bit of a nightmare. But yeah, I would, because we were looking at doing something similar with a couple of people that wanted to put, and it actually was a nightmare. If you're doing a joint venture, it's a bit different, but if they're just putting money in and you're basically becoming like a... Yeah,
it's not, the problem is it's not your money, is it? You're using their money. So I think you need to sit down with a proper accountant and a solicitor over this, just to clarify where you stand legally. But I'm sure you have to be FCA regulated, because you're holding them. You'll certainly need a client account because it's not your money.
Accountants probably is solicitor. You want to speak to a solicitor, specialist solicitor.
Yeah.
If they're not, they might. If you've got to go to a firm, because I remember speaking to my solicitor, and they put me in touch with someone else at the firm. Yeah, you need to check into that. There's quite a lot of. It's a bit of a nightmare legally to do something like that. So
let me just see if I can see anything. I agree with you. Yeah, because you're giving them terms as well. You're giving them interest, high interest. I definitely would speak to a solicitor about it.
You almost become.
It's not a straightforward JV. It's not a straightforward money in, money out. It's you're holding money for them, and you're using that to invest, and then giving them a return every month or every year. And you're saying like things like keep it in there for 2 years.
It's definitely
essentially you're holding. Like
it's a bit like crowdfunding, isn't it? It's essentially crowdfunding, which is.
It's definitely possible.
It's doable, but it's red tapey.
It's going to be very, very red tapey. So, and it might not be worth it. But it depends how much money we're talking about. If we're talking a lot of money, then it's obviously worth all the expense to go.
All right, let's do one more. Let's do one more. Hope that answers your question, Andy. But good luck with it, man. It sounds good. It's a great idea, but just make sure you're legally doing it right. Dave Oliver, if you have no portfolio but want to invest, is it a good idea if you have enough money saved to use respected deal sources for your first few deals? I'll be coming to approximately 15k when my residential house sells, and I thought it might be wise to invest through sources while I'm still educated in property and then start finding my own deals in the future. Is that wise? What do you think? What I would suggest...
It's a good idea if I don't mind to use respected deals for the first few deals. I'll be coming...
I just read it, but he's going to read it again.
No,
silently to himself, because obviously that's very entertaining for you watching. What I would say... But it'd be interesting, obviously you run a deal sourcing company, so it'd be interesting to get your take on this. But what I would say is, I would only buy from a deal sourcer if you understand it.
We're going to have very similar advice here.
Okay, good. So for me, deal sources are great for doing legwork, but it should be legwork that you can do yourself, because the problem with a deal sourcer is that ultimately, if you're the one putting the money in, ultimately you're responsible. So it's like having a member of staff. So you've got a member of staff, and you can say to them, go and write me that letter. But if you don't understand what you should be doing, and then they come back, you've got to be able to check it and make sure you're happy with it. You can get them to do the legwork. Great, get their advice. Great. But you need to be able to check it and do your due diligence and make sure it's good before you part with your money. So I would say get educated as well.
Yeah.
And if you want to do it yourself, if you've got time, do it yourself.
The thing is, look, with the greatest of respect, I will be coming into about £15,000 residential. So £15,000 is a great starting point. But you're going to pay a deal sourcer anywhere from £2,000 to £5,000 depending on what the deal is.
Which is like a big chunk of that.
Yeah, which is a big chunk of that, and then you're going to need you're going to be legal fees, a couple of £1,000, and you're going to have like maybe £8,000 for the deposit. So you're talking, what's 8 times 4? 32. You're talking a £40,000 house. By the time you do 25% loan,
well, it's got to be at least 40 to get a mortgage.
Exactly. So I would focus on learning as much as possible. I really would, and however means you choose to do that, I would focus on learning as much as possible, because if you come to us and said, I want to buy this deal, and I've got 15 grand to play with, that's what we would say to you, because we know that money might not be enough to buy a deal, because by the time you pay legal fees, by the time you pay stamp duty, by the time you pay deposits, you're left with nothing, and then you don't have any money for refurbs or anything like that. So I think it'd be very, very tight to go down the standard buy to let route at the 15,000 at the minute. Maybe get it up to, like, if you can get it up to 25, it'd be a little bit easier. It'd be much easier. But obviously you've got options such as rent to rent, such as lease option agreements, and joint venturing. So that's where the education comes in. So the education would teach you how to joint venture with people, would teach you how to get rent to rent deals. We're running a program tomorrow, for the next 3 days, Rent to Rent Revolution, part of the Academy program. And it's all about taking control of property as opposed to buying property. And it's for people that haven't perhaps got lots of money to invest. It's all about control as opposed to purchase. Mm-hmm. So education, I think, is crucial, and invest that money wisely.
There you go. You heard it here first. Well, guys, thanks ever so much for tuning in. We'll be back next Saturday at 7 p.m. You can listen to us on YouTube. You can catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can listen to a podcast.
We are there.
We are there. So please do listen, subscribe, like, share with your friends, make fun of Alistair, whatever you want to do.
I'm really, if you want to make fun, I'm really up for it. Come on, let's go.
Oh, easily. He's opened it up now.
I'm easy. I don't mind. I know it's all. I don't care. Love you guys.
See you next week.